Alright, we are in England, and we are taking off from, I don't even remember what the town name was. Little town in Cornwall, and we are going to be heading to the Scilly, however you say it. It's S-C-I-L-L-Y. I think the way that I've heard him pronounce it is just Scilly Island. To St. Mary's Airport, and yeah, we're in a passenger plane this time. Solomon Island aircraft, I guess. But we are going to be going on some very short runways, especially the one we're landing at. So just take a look at this airport. Pretty small runways here, but we should be able to get up off the ground. And we'll take a little look at Cornwall as we fly over it. And it's the southwesternmost county of the UK. And it should be, I think we're going to be around a 45-50 minute flight. Kind of depends on what we get for wind. Looks like we should have a tailwind there. Now, the direct flight to it is out over the Atlantic, north of this little peninsula. But we're probably going to go inland a little bit more, just to be able to see a little bit more than what we would. Over here, get on the runway, try to find a runway. Yep, there we go, there's our runway. Definitely be using it all up here, just to make sure we get up off the ground. Make sure that we do not have flaps, we need that. And what else are we? See, boost pumps. I don't think we're going to need that, but we will go ahead and put those on. And should be good to go. Hopefully the volume's alright. They did do an update for this plane since I last flew it, and I think it was to turn the volumes down a bit. Let's go ahead. Can we adjust that yet? Let's go to 25. And can I adjust this? No. Alright. Still haven't figured out how to get the vertical speed. I've got it to work once. And not since then. So let's roll on. See if the airport name is here. Nope. Alright. Let's get ourselves up in the air. Looks like the volume's okay. Hopefully it's not too quiet now. Should be matched up with my voice based on the readings that I've got. And we don't need a whole lot of runway to get this thing up in the air, as usual. Climb out here. Already. Let's go ahead and get this all ready to go. Just go ahead and let it fly itself right now. Should hold us at this altitude. Got the flaps up. And it should turn us around now in a second. Once we get turned around, I'll start to climb out. Autopilot's probably going to bank us too much. definitely is a little bit quieter than it was previously, but that's good. I think it was a bit too extreme to hear a little bit too much for where the engines were. So we're getting turned around here, out now over the water. Once we get headed in the right direction, then I will get us on a heading rather than following this straight line. If the cliffs were a little cooler to look at, then we'd maybe do that. I have no idea what's going on with this reflection here, but a little funky. Alright, let's get the heading set up. Heading. Let's see if I can get this, get us a bit more altitude. Will you work now? Alright, it's working. 3/4 on the props. And looks like should be actually be getting there pretty quick. Let's hop out and look at these. We've got a bunch of places up along the cliffs. The airport we just took off from, a very weird reflection happening there. And, well, we're going to go to the tip of this peninsula, as long as the game doesn't freeze up here. Peace. And then after we get all the way out there, we're going to keep on heading out to a little island that's out there. Looks like the flight's actually going to be much shorter than I thought it was, so let's go ahead, head inland a bit, take a look and see what's all around here. Sure, these cliffs are really awesome looking in real life, but a bit butchered in this game. Another little, probably abandoned airport, because this, I don't think, was anywhere on, like I said, I don't know if I actually said this. I don't know if I've done a flight in England, but there are airports everywhere. Obviously this one is no longer in use, got the X's everywhere, but like, you've got airports at every single point on this island. It's just over and over and over. We'll head in here, we got quite a few towns inland. It was 500,000 people live in this county, which extends quite a bit the other way, but some fairly large areas more east. Go ahead and turn back now that we're a bit over land. So right now our ground speed's 150. Should be clear all the way there. Just with this little bit of cloud cover, there might be a few lower clouds, but nothing to worry about. I was thinking about stopping at Land's End, which is like the last bit on this peninsula. We've got a little town down here. I do not know what it is called. Some of these towns I might not even be able to pronounce. They've got some weird ones. things out around here. But yeah, no need to get too far up in the air. We are using about 350 pounds of fuel an hour, and we've got 400 pounds of fuel both sides, so we're fine there. I think that's actually front and forward, or front and rear. If we were needing to fuel save or actually running an airline, then we would back the engines off a bit more. Right now we're not redlined on anything, so I feel like not doing anything too unrealistic. Put ourselves a bit more here. I don't know if you can hear the clicking sound from the autopilot changing the trim. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's me moving my mouse around. I don't know. There's this little clicking that I keep hearing. I'm not sure what it is. Not too big of a deal though. So, all right, we'll get back on track here. And lands in the airport, should be right around here. We'll be just flying over it. Maybe, what are we, 15 minutes out? No, you know what? Nice 30-minute video will be fine. Don't need to have a long video. Looks like a quarry. There was actually, looking at the map, quite a few quarries back about where we took off. But some really cool land. Very different than the US with all these tiny farms. And here's the quarry. Watch our flight path here. Alright. Yeah, we're fine. Alright, so 13:45 out. We're about to connect on the flight path that we're on. And maybe the airport is up over here. This kind of flat bit. You can see it, the circle coming in the airspace. So I think that's what that is. But we are at the end of England. Let's go ahead and get ourselves turned a bit. There we go. I think maybe that's the airport. Keep getting terrain calls. It's obviously not an issue. Alright, yeah, that is the airport there. Alright. So this is modeled pretty well for a basic airport in the game. Like they custom modeled it, but it came with it. But had we taken off here, it would have been like a 12-15 minute flight. But it is also a pretty small field. You're not going to be landing anything too big there. But this is still quite massive compared to where we're headed. Up, but you can see much better modeling of the buildings and everything around. And now we head off to the islands, which we should be able to see right now, but I am not quite seeing them. Might be over in this area. Let's go ahead and just put ourselves on actual flight path now that we're going over water. So yeah, about 2,200 people live out on these little islands, and it's a pretty unique place. Sure. Got some little tiny islands there. Some trees on it, apparently. There's our islands that we're headed to. Probably can't even see them on the video because it's like about a couple of pixels high right now, but we'll be turning back towards them. And, heading there fairly quick. So ground speed now 146. Really enjoying this plane, especially now that they've got the engine sounds a little lower. Hopefully it's not too low on the video. I have to do some tweaking, just because I tweaked it the last time for the Idaho flight, and was still a bit loud. But now we are going over the Atlantic to one of... right now, I think it's one of the cooler places to land, especially when you're in a plane this large. It feels like you definitely don't have enough space, but this plane is designed exactly for little places like this. We're pretty heavy. I put full passengers in, even though I don't have any actual model passengers in there. I thought there was supposed to be, but apparently not, or it's not working correctly. Then we're pretty low on fuel, but that was just to keep the weight down so we weren't over on it, and also because we didn't really need a whole lot to go on this flight. But we're at 150 ground speed now, 7.5 minutes out. That'll obviously expand as we start to slow down. I think I can pump this up just a bit more. Get a little more speed out of it. Obviously, if we wanted to go a little quicker, we'd go a little higher, but with this short of a flight, not a big deal, and definitely no terrain in the way. So once we get ready for descent and put the flaps back out, then we'll go back with the full RPM on the props. And we don't have anything else we need to do, although I'm guessing most of the pitot heat and everything didn't actually get turned on because the auto start doesn't seem to do that. Landing lights are... let's see. Alright, landing lights were off. I'll try to remember to turn those on, but that's the last thing I'm usually thinking about. Getting a bit of cloud cover here, and a bit of frame stutter there. Reflections and clouds and everything. Let's see if I can... St. Mary's approach. St. Mary's. Stop landing.
St. Mary's Tower to Haviland, November 555, 15 miles northeast, 2,100 feet to land.
De Haviland, November 555, St. Mary's Tower. Altimeter 30 decimal 53135285. Fly straight in runway 27.
Fly straight in runway 27 to Haviland 555.
Alright, 27 is gonna be a different way that I've not landed, but will be okay. It's gonna actually be a much quicker way. So let's go ahead. Oh, it's already got us perfectly lined up for that with the approach. Well, this will be nice and easy. I just did the flight planning on rather than entering this all in before the video, and so I don't have to select my approach. It's already got it. It will get us turned in. We'll start to slow down. Probably about 2 minutes. There is a bit of a bump where the runways cross, and this will at least take us right to the passenger terminal as well. Not have to try to taxi around. This place is very difficult to taxi, especially with this thing. I'm guessing most people just drive through the grass because most of the grass around it is used as parking lots, from what I've seen, or ramps. Alright, so airport's on the big island here, and there's a bunch of other islands out off to the sides here. They believe it all used to be one bigger island, but then rising water levels have, over the past thousands of years, have changed that. Let's go down to 15. Down. Back this off. Start to drop some speed. end of the runway there, you can see the flashing lights. And go ahead and get flaps out. And that fully, and then
Clear to land runway 27.
Clear to land runway 27 de Havilland.
go, landing lights on. And we're gonna take autopilot off. Do this ourselves. So we are at 1,500. Slowly start to turn in and drop some altitude. It's just the altitude warning, not a warning, but that we're approaching what this is set for. Alright, got the end of the runway in sight. Can't speak. And we're minute 50 out. We got the runway right there. We can line up on it. Looks like we're all red right now, so we'll just try to stay at this altitude for a moment until we catch some whites. It's the lights off to the left side of the runway, but again, they're just barely pixels right now, so you probably cannot see that. And lined up. We're going to want to bring this in pretty slow. Bit too far to the left. Got some right rudder in it, trying to push us back to the right. Got a little bit too much speed. I'm gonna go another click of flaps once I get this. We got some higher trees off to the right on approach. So we'll kind of swing it in. There we go. We got 2 whites, 2 red. Doing good now. This thing slowed down even more. How high it's saying now. Holding 80 knots. A little high it's still saying, but I feel like we're okay. Pull the power back.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh, we're a little long here. Reverse. And we're down with a ton of runway. That is how this thing works. Do we have a taxiway over here? Alright, we're just gonna use the grass. We'll not run over the people that are telling us where to park. I'm just gonna use the grass. Turned around here to this parking spot. And then we'll take a little look around the island. That was a bit of a military landing. Drop it hard and very abrupt stopped. Alright, so we've made it. Still 250 pounds of fuel on both tanks. And, cut the engines. Switch over Copilot. So it's all shutting down here. But yeah, very, very small airport. I came in last time I landed here, landing on 14. That was a very interesting one to land on. But let's take a look. So, here's the airport. There's our airplane. Usually we can't see all the runways and our airplane that well, but we still got stopped before the yellow there, so we're perfectly fine. Yeah, not a very big island, but kind of a touristy spot. And, I mean, we could have easily just put the floats on and landed over here. Looks like got a couple of ships parked there that are underwater because it's just photos. Got a little castle here. It's actually kind of modeled. Maybe it's a lighthouse. Maybe it's a old defense tower. Yeah, tons of little islands all over this place. Then we've got some other stuff over here. Another probably castle type situation. Just seeing the angles of the building, or just a resort, because I do see a pool down in there. I doubt they've got a lighthouse modeled, but I'm gonna assume this is supposed to be a lighthouse. Looks like a courthouse, but I'm gonna guess this is supposed to be a lighthouse. If I was a lighthouse, that's where I'd be. But, yeah, here we are. Very unique place. And, a very, very, very fun airport to land at. So, easy to take off from here. It's a little shorter than what we took off from, obviously, but we hardly used up anything there. So, fun little flight, and hope you enjoyed that. And I will try to decide where we go next. Get another one out next week. Thanks for watching.